Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another ReZero video. Today we're gonna be reading right where we left off in the last part. Now, what happened in the last part, we learned, first of all, they're stuck in the sanctuary. They cannot leave due to the barrier, I believe. Uh, Roswell is in a terrible state. He's all bandaged over. I don't know what could have happened to him, but I assume it's because he tried to leave through the barrier and he got effed up. But I'm sure we'll find out why that happened to him pretty soon here. And then we learned about Frederica. Apparently, she lied to Subaru and Emilia and Otto about needing that like crystal or pendant to cross the barrier. They did not need that to cross the barrier to get to the sanctuary. Um, so why she would lie about that? Who knows? I don't know what she would gain to get rid of Emilia. But who knows? I have no idea what her motive could have been there. But once again, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. So yeah, let's just get right back into it. Right after Subaru and Emilia learn about the statement that was said by Roswell that they cannot leave the sanctuary currently. So, imprisoned? That doesn't, well, have a nice ring to it. Somehow, Subaru managed to recover from the initial shock and ring out those words. Emilia managed to swallow down her own surprise, giving the injured Roswell a painful stare as she said, "Then, Roswell, don't tell me that those wounds were from. Oh, so, okay. Wait. Emilia was in shock as she combined the sight of him wounded with his earlier statement. So maybe it was from the barrier then. Neither could Subaru, having arrived at the same thought, conceal his own shock. There's someone in this village who can overpower Roswell, hurt him this much, and keep him captive? Wait, so it's a someone? It's a person? That's no laughing matter. Yeah, I just assumed it was just a barrier, it's an object. But I guess it could be someone, maybe. Sibu touched a hand to his chin, nervously pondering a foe powerful far beyond his expectations. Yeah, someone powerful, more powerful than Roswell? I don't know about that. That's crazy, because he's like the most powerful wizard, or magic user, I mean, in the kingdom, so. Subaru touched a hand to his chin, nervously pondering a foe powerful, far beyond his expectations. Roswell was the kingdom's preeminent magic user. The demon beast's disturbance had proven that in earnest. Subaru could not believe that anyone could easily put Roswell through this much pain and suffering. Who in the world had done this to you? What? You're still doing chit chat? You shouldn't push the wooden shouldn't push a wooden guy too much. Make a make a mottled kuchibashi run and it turns black, you know? No, Garfiel, I don't know. And I'm sure Subaru doesn't know either. Surprised by the sudden voice, Subaru turned around in a hurry. At the end of his gaze was Garfiel, who'd appeared at the entrance to the room. He took a look around the room and whistled towards Emilia. Hey now, what's this greeting all of a sudden? What? Are you that ticked off with me? I'm being on the safe side, since the earlier conversation made me think the most dangerous person here is you. Garfield audibly clenched his teeth in amusement. Emilia stood on guard with Subaru and Roswell at her back, seemingly to shield them from him. Best girl Emilia, I'm telling you. Being shielded by Emilia was a thing in itself, but Subaru blinked hard at the separate issue, namely, hey, what'd you do with Otto? He was with you, right? Oh yeah, Otto. He was like taking him someplace with the land dragon, so we don't really know where he is right now. Ah, what, that noisy guy? Well, you get it, don't you? No, Garfield, we don't get it. God, Garfield nodded defiantly, and his sharp gaze turned even sharper. Subaru, sensing bottomless hostility from his statement, felt hairs on his back stand up. Emilia lowered her stance, as if she had the same sense from Garfield as he. The atmosphere grew strained. At the drop of a pin, combat between the two would become unavoidable. What? Hold on, I'll talk it out first. Hold on. Ha, fine. If you want a piece of me, I'll be happy to. It's not fine at all. Know your place, stupid Garf. Who's that, Rem? Or Ram? I always say Ram on accident. But the atmosphere primed to explode was smashed apart by the powerful impact sound of an iron tray. Circling around his back during the exchange, it was Ram who had brought Garfield down with a single merciless blow. As Garfield writhed in agony, Ram looked down at him, sighing as she addressed the others. Lady Emilia, Subaru, it is equally unsightly of you two to jump to conclusions so quickly. Yeah, seriously, that's what I was saying. Just talk it out first. Garf has nothing to do with Master Roswell's injuries. He may look like a simpleton, but he's not quite that thoughtless. Is that so? Oh, so they thought Roswell was injured by Garfield. I thought they were thinking about Otto. Yes, Lady Emilia, he had nothing to do with it. I was about to say so that very moment. Roswell's utterly shameless exaggeration left Emilia lowering her arms, astonished. Then she rushed over to Garfield, kneeling upon the floor in great haste. I'm sorry. Very sorry. I completely misunderstood. I was certain you'd eaten Otto or something. Wow, Emilia 10. Your ideas are really something. Even I didn't think you'd gone that far. To flat out eat Otto, that'd be something. Though it was certainly true Subaru suspected Otto's life had been in danger, he hadn't suspected Garfield in doing such a thing. Following in the flustered Emilia's footsteps, Subaru checked to see how Garfield was doing. Garfield, shaking the head Ram had struck with that hearty blow, opened his mouth wide at the pair's assertions. As if I'd munch on a guy like that. He's noisy, and he says stuff a guy ain't emotionally prepared for. So I ditched him back at the dragon carriage. Okay. You're being pretty vague there, and you kick up a ruckus even without Otto. It suggests his demeanor had caused a misunderstanding that had nearly led to great disaster. That disaster had been averted by Ram. Yeah, Ram just coming in hot with a freaking pan or whatever, a tray. Murked him. Thanks a bundle, Ram. Don't want any unnecessary bloodshed. Hold on, your tray's all bent out of shape. A necessary loss to stop Garf. Next time, it would seem I should use the corner, not the flat of the tray. She's good at preparing for the future, you should say. Ram took inspiration from the bent tray for how she should deal with him next time. Setting Ram's demeanor aside, Garfield, the victim of her pummeling, plopped himself in the chair at the corner of the room. Then he rubbed his head as he looked at Ram and said, Ram, if you feel sorry about all that, how about some tea? Please wait while I head out briefly to gather fallen leaves. Fallen leaves, yeah, that'll make for some exquisite tea. Making a sound from her nose at the grandiose request, Ram really did head out of the house. Subaru had to wonder what she had intended to do with fallen leaves. Though that tugged at his mind, what also tugged at it was our door with which Garfield watched Ram's back as she departed. I was wondering this from the exchange at the village entrance too, but what? You have a thing for Ram? Oh my god. No way. She's a fine woman, ain't she? Ain't exactly weird for males to be attracted to strong, capable females. We're not dividing chicks by male and female, so stop chirping about that. Yeesh. Garfield had replied openly to Subaru's question, but his road to romance was treacherous. Ram's affection for Roswell ran deep, hanging over his prospects almost like a curse. That was an unmistakable side of romance in any world, but... Well then, based on that reaction, you don't look like you talked about the important stuff yet. You're free to turn into pieces of garbage if you want, but you should talk about it to Lady Emilia at least. To me? With Ram absent from the room, Garfield tapped his foot as he refocused the conversation. Emilia was surprised that her own name was in the statement, but Garfield paid her surprise no heed, sending his dangerous look stabbing right through Roswell. So it looks like we're about to get some more information then about everything that's going on in this sanctuary. The fact she got past the barrier means she's wrapped up in our business. What the hell's with this peaceful, pleasant conversation? You people playing around or something? I'm not sure why you have a bee in your bonnet, but this business we're wrapped up doesn't sound unrelated to this whole imprisoned business. Garfield, as snippy as ever, narrowed his eyes at Subaru's assertion, feeling as if he was facing off against a fierce, overbearing beast, aka the world's strongest man, apparently. Subaru put the conversation to that point in order in his head and said, according to Roswell, this isn't imprisonment by brute force. Regardless of how you look and act, you can't be short-tempered and violent enough to, for an instant, being hurled by Garfield's reemerged in his memories. Yeah, don't say anything too. Oh my god. Ugh. He's probably terrified of Garfield. This man. You can't be short-tempered and violent enough to pause. Do that sort of thing. Subaru, you seemed really unsure just now. Subaru, on the receiving end of a rare quip from Emilia, looked straight at Garfield, receiving his gaze. Garfield said, go on, urging Subaru to continue. I'll listen. If he ain't the dirt stuck to a half-demon's foot, that is. Half-elf. Next time I'll get Roswell to light your butt on fire. Garfield lowered his head as Subaru shamelessly proclaimed he would borrow another power for his retribution. But who knew, maybe later on he'll gain his own powers to back up his statements. At his reaction, Subaru lifted a finger, turning that finger to indicate the sanctuary outside. I'll continue. Now that imprisonment by force has been crossed off the list, what other way can I think of? Imprisonment by force. Trying to think of some other way they could be stuck here for some reason. I mean, we know from a couple videos ago that there was the trial of Sanctuary, so I don't know if that's connected to this. That's all I could think of. Some sort of like thing you gotta do in order to get through the barrier. Yeah, it should never mention that to Subaru. She gave him access to do the trial or something. It was something like that. But we'll see. I'll continue. That and blah blah blah. Crossed off the list. What other way can I think of? To be honest, I don't have much information to go on, but there's one thing that sticks out in my mind. You mean the barrier? That's right, you're so smart, Emilia 10. Coming up with the answer on her own, Emilia had sounded unsure in her answer, but her view was in line with Subaru's own. If neither Garfield's brawn nor Roswell's injuries was responsible for the imprisonment in the sanctuary, It left the barrier as the only possibility. The barrier with a special effect originally meant to protect the sanctuary. If it had been a simple barrier, Subaru might not have come to such a far-fetched idea. But at any rate, when she came in contact with the barrier, Emilia fainted. And that was possibly, no, it wasn't from the crystal that Frederica gave. It was just a reaction since she's half blood or whatever. Mixed blood. Emilia fainted. According to Garfiel, that's not an effect limited to Emilia. It's like that for most of the people living in the sanctuary, he said. Oh, okay. So it's okay. In other words, Subaru, you think that it's the barrier's effect that's keeping Roswell and the others in here, preventing them from returning to the mansion. There you go again. Well, exactly. Wow, me and Tana are perfect sync today. My God. Elated that they were thinking along the same lines, Subaru went for a high five. Let me guess, Emilia's not going to respond to that. But when Emilia tilted her head rather than play along, Subaru gently eased his hand down and looked at Garfiel. So that's what I was thinking, but am I right? Sorry, I've got to drop my assessment of you. 3 steps down from a piece of mud. That assessment is pretty out there, but I'll aim to gradually raise it back up. Taking that as a roundabout way of saying yes, Subaru nodded and looked over to Roswell. Okay, so Subaru was right then. Correct. 3 steps down from... Okay, yeah. So Subaru raised a little higher on, Garfiel's, respect, almost. As he did so, Roswell closed one eye as Subaru and Emilia's thought processes, amusement resting his yellow eye. My, there truly has been quite a change in the span of several days. The optimism in both Subaru and Lady Mia is quite reassuring. It was well worth making my heart that of an Oni and letting matters be. I don't really get what that means, to be honest. Of an Oni. Is that like a demon? I have a mountain of things to say to you later about that letting matters be part. Yeah, get him, Subaru. Freaking Roswell. Keep in mind, if you were wounded, the iron fist of my anger wouldn't be a soft thing. How frightening. With Roswell in such high spirits, Subaru brandished a clenched fist. Man, I love how Subaru interacts. So much. Love their banter. Whether he'd have seriously let Roswell have it was another matter, but his irritation at the previous statement was no act. He'd give the man a tongue lashing later for his lack of countermeasures against the witch cult attack during his absence. Seriously though, you think he'd have some sort of countermeasures? Like, come on. So much crap happened. But right now, talking about the barrier comes first. Is that reaction the cause of the imprisonment? I cannot call it correct in the strictest sense. However, it is not far from the truth. It is a fact that the cause of our being hindered here in this sanctuary is a circumstance involving that barrier. Okay, so it is the barrier. Alrighty, I had to stop the recording there, so this is the day after I just started reading, so that's why I'm in a new shirt and stuff, so let's get back into it here. The barrier had the power to rob mixed people of their consciousness and make intruders get lost in the forest. But it did no harm to those of mixed blood already inside. It lacked the power to hinder Roswell and the others on its own. So the fact you've been stuck here anyways means that's because the people under the barrier's effect are getting in their way. Huh. So is there a person like controlling the barrier? I'm kind of confused here. That's because the people under the barrier's effect are getting in their way. Not in the barrier's way, their way. So maybe there's more to this than I thought. So that was just a barrier, just an object that they had to get past. Let's read on here. The answer to his question was bluntly revealed from the mouth of one of the people concerned. When he turned toward the speaker, that ferocious declaration, the sharp green eyes of the golden-haired man of mixed blood glared back at Subaru and the others. Garfiel. The way I see it, it's a simple story. As long as the barrier's up, you can't get out of the sanctuary. The barrier's got nothing to do with you. But that ain't very fair, is it? Then because you want to get out but can't, you're holding Roswell and the others captive, even to the point someone gets hurt like this. So they're holding Roswell captive? So would Roswell be able to get out? Ah, man, there's so much I don't know. Subaru, feeling like the issue had just become very petty, felt anger towards the short-tempered act. However, when he pressed the issue, Garfield grimaced unpleasantly. Say whatever you want about it, but it's not like it don't have anything to do with you. So, for the same reason, you don't intend us to let us go either. No, it ain't that. It's way simpler. Your precious little princess can't get out of the sanctuary for the same reason me and the grannies can't. Damn it. So are they gonna try to use Emilia and Subaru and them to try to get out of the sanctuary or release the barrier? And wait, for the same reason me and the grannies can't. Damn it, okay. Subaru gaped when Garfield laughed loudly and pointed at Emilia as he made his statement. Truly, he was fed up with himself for not having realized such an obvious possibility. It was exactly as Garfield said it. It was already proven beyond doubt the bear's effect was active upon Emilia. She too was a prison of the sanctuary. So only the people with mixed blood, like Emilia, can't leave. I think that's what I'm getting at here. Can't anything be done about that? Like, right, if the barrier knocks people out when they touch it, how about having them carried out by the people not under its effect? Ah, super amazing. We could use that method to get people out. An amusing suggestion. But 'tis best avoided, if you do not seek to leave us a soulless husk at least. Yet again, a third party intervened in Subaru's conversation that day. And the intervention was of an unfamiliar voice caused Subaru to turn toward the entrance. Just like Garfield had done earlier, a small figure was standing there. Whereupon Subaru let out an eh? She had long pink hair. It's the elf girl. This is her. Finally, we got to see her. She had long pink hair, doll-like beauty, and pointed ears. All things he had seen before. The features were without doubt those of the elfin girl Subaru had encountered in the forest. Yeah, he remembers that part at least. He just doesn't remember the Echidna part. You're that hot. Here, Barsu. Tea as requested. Subaru, surprised by the reunion, instantly began to speak, but a sudden feeling of a hot, steaming drink pressed against his cheek made Subaru yell from the burning pain, tumbling onto the room's floor. Well, hey, at least it's not tea made out of bodily fluids, like back at Echidna's freaking castle or whatever. The clumsy servant having returned, Ram gazed down at Subaru's state with a look of scorn. Such a big fuss. How unsightly for a man. That has nothing to do with being a man or not. You burned my cheek, you know. What were you thinking? Sitting up in the face of a heartless, merciless abuse, Subaru vented his grudges with tearful eyes. Poor Subaru, man. Never catches a break. It was hardly Ram's first act of violence toward him, but this was the least logical of them all. Ram's always out to get you, Subaru. Subaru was enraged at the high-handedness toward him. Goodness, said Ram, and pressed a damp cloth to Subaru's cheek as he said, please keep quiet about the elf from before. Huh? Subaru said, dumbfounded and wide-eyed as Ram was so close that she was practically touching his ear. Wait a second, what? Please keep quiet about the elf from before. What is that supposed to mean? Does Ram know that Subaru saw her when he arrived past the barrier, or? However, Ram said nothing about that and handed a different steaming cup to Garfield and said, the very essence of crude tea. Ain't that usually said with more modesty? It is the juice from fallen leaves. You should be grateful it was poured by Ram's hand and drink it to the bottom. Subaru put his own thoughts aside as he watched the terrible treatment she gave the man. Subaru, are you alright? Should I cool your cheek with ice? It's okay, I'm alright. I'm used to Ram doing crazy stuff. It's like an everyday ritual. Is that so? When did things become like that while my back was turned? That prompted Subaru to reminisce about the tragedies of his life as a servant. But it was not that upon which Subaru's mind was focused. Rather, it was Ram's whisper into his ear. Yeah, what the hell was she talking about? She told him to keep quiet about the elf. But his questions about that were soon answered. I'd heard young Gar brought in humans from the outside again. Quite a rambunctious youngster. So that must be the pink-haired elf lady speaking right now. Speaking those words, the elf, concerned, lowered her eyelids. The voice, the expression, the emotions lacking from the other individual. They felt as if they came from someone very old. Something that threw Subaru off. And you are? I apologize for my late introduction, Lady Emilia. I am Ryuzu. Ryuzu Bilma. That's a cool name. I suppose you might call me this village's representative. Bro, why can I not speak? It's such an easy word. I suppose you might call me this village's representative. Thank you. God bless. I could do it. As you can see, I'm a tottering old woman. Old woman? She looks rather young from the art the book provides in the back here. Tottering old woman. Right, you're as old as you look. When the girl calling herself Ryuzu bowed and named herself, her declaration made Emilia seem conflicted. Subaru's reaction was the same as hers. Apparently, he wasn't the only one thrown for a loop at Ryuzu, who looked like a young girl, declaring herself a tottering old woman. On the outside, she looked like an adorable early teen. She was dressed only in a white robe, one that made it impossible to see her limbs past the cuffs and hem. Furthermore, her words and actions from her years of maturity clashed with her appearance. What an odd character. I wonder what. I wonder if her voice sounds super young as well. It's a Loli Hag in the flesh. Damn it, super. I thought I might see this stereotype here someday. Of course you did. To think I would call the hag upon our first meeting. The youngster is ruder than even young Gar and young Ross. When you add Lolly to the when you add Lolly to the pejorative hag, it goes from an insult to a badge of honor. It is a status highly esteemed back in my homeland. No, I'm serious. Are you fucking kidding me, Super? Lolly Hag? Come on, man. Replying with appropriate flippancy, Subaru tried to somehow put a lid on the chaos inside his own mind. Ryuzu was the spitting image of the girl in the forest, but the air she gave off was clearly different, and Ram had forbidden him from speaking of the other girl's existence. The other girls, are they talking about the girl in front of him? Or is there two of them? I'm so confused. I mean, I know I'm an idiot, but come on. And Ram had forbidden him from speaking of the other girl's existence. But from the sentence, it sounds like it's speaking of someone other than Ryuzu. Something's going on here, said Subaru's instincts, ringing like an alarm bell, but, very well then. You must be Barasu, young Su, in other words. Young Su. Paired with a young Gar thing, calling me that makes it sound like we'll start getting treated as brothers, but that's fine. Just please at least remember that my proper name is Subaru Natsuki. Subaru introduced himself to nip the mistaken name, obtained via Ram, in the bud. His line caused Ryuzu to slap her hip, saying, I get it, in an elderly fashion before she said, Now, young Gar, would you be a sensible boy and yield your chair to me? You get ticked off when I treat you like a hag, but you turn into a tottering old woman when it's convenient. Damn it. I love this character already. I love all these characters. Did you say something? Nothing. Garfiel clicked his tongue as yielded the chair in which he sat to Ryuzu. As he did, he brushed some dust off the chair and, in deeply devoted fashion, lent Ryuzu a hand so that she could sit in it more easily. Somehow, you seem like some hick from the countryside whose rudeness is all mouth. Oh, shut up, third rate. What are you comparing me to? Whoa, this tastes awful. It tastes like grass, because it probably is grass. Garfiel, did you not hear Ram tell you that she's just gonna go pick up freaking leaves off the ground? Garfield grimaced spectacularly at the fallen leaf Ram had poured for him. Subaru took advantage of the interlude to get the topic back on track again, as he said, So, now that Ryuzu is with us, let's get back to the earlier topic. What's your basics for saying my idea is bad? Earlier, Ms. Ryuzu said something really scary sounding, but... what did she say? I already forgot. Wait. So Subaru said, the bear knocks people out when they touch it. How about having them carried out by people under its effect? And the elf Ryuzu said, an amusing suggestion, but 'tis best avoided if you do not seek to leave us a soulless husk, at least. Okay. earlier, Miss Ryuzu said something really scary sounding. Emilia glanced her sight on at Ryuzu. It's gonna take me a bit to say this name right consistently, man. Subaru nodded at her words. She said, soulless husk, right? What did he mean by that? I meant exactly what I said. When the mixed come into contact with the barrier, they lose consciousness. But I cannot call that impression quite correct. The souls of the mix are repelled by the barrier. It is more correct to say the souls are repelled. So if they try to carry the husks of the body through the barrier, the souls may not be able to return. I think that's what it's trying to get at. Emilia the souls were repelled? Emilia didn't seem to quite get the explanation for the mechanism by which the barrier knocked people out. Subaru gawked at Ryuzu, somehow managing to digest her words. In other words, if the mix forced their way across the barrier, body and soul will be separated from each other, and that'll leave the soul inside the barrier without a body. That's how I should interpret husk. Ho, the boy understands rather quickly. That is the long and short of it. When Subaru replied with his own interpretation, the impressed Ryuzu smiled. After she saw that smile, Emilia's eyes were still wide with surprise when she looked at Roswell. But how is that related to Roswell's injuries? Yeah, we still don't really know what happened to Roswell. Hopefully we'll find out now, actually. If the barrier's power does not function for anyone except those with mixed blood, someone else inflicted those wounds on Roswell, and it wasn't Garfiel, right? Ooh, excuse me. Emilia asked. Roswell's shoulders sank. As Ram said earlier, he is not quite that thoughtless of a man. Though I do not deny that Garfiel is capable of inflicting such pain upon... Garfiel's that fucking strong, dude. We need to, recruit Garfiel to go with us and take out these sins, dude. Garfiel is a beast, apparently. They need Garfiel on their team. I hope Garfiel sticks around after this. Seriously? Subaru was aghast. He is serious. Ram's brief words affirmed they were true. Yeah, if Ram says they were true, then yeah, they're true. It meant a great deal coming from Ram, both a realist and someone placing Roswell at the summit of her mental pyramid. Apparently, Garfield had the might to back up his claim to the title of the world's strongest man. The exchange was another way of saying there is no escaping this imprisonment by force. I feel like I should be kind of insulted by that way you're talking. Ram, don't make a scared face like that. Anyway, it wasn't me. He got hurt like that because the trial rejected him. The trial. Yes, the trial. Once again, as I said before, Echidna gave Subaru the rights to take the trial. So, Subaru's gonna go through that, I'm pretty sure. Because the trial shouldn't reject Subaru now, at least. Whether he knew the depth of the surprise or not, Garfield violently dragged the conversation forward. Subaru gaped and gulped, calming his mind down somewhat as he voiced his thoughts. First, the sanctuary has a barrier from a witch. Okay, so the barrier is from the witch. I'm not sure if they said that before. I'm sure they did, but stuff crosses my mind sometimes. And now there's a trial. It just gets better and better. New problems only added to the number of topics. When Subaru scowled at the fact, Roswell replied, "I suppose so," and stroked the bandages over his chest as he continued. "However, this is most likely the final piece of information to be added. Those who are qualified obtain the right to take the trial and lift the barrier." But I'm thinking, is there any other way? How do you get the right to take the trial? Is it only from the witch Echidna, or is there some other way? My wounds are proof of what happens when that precondition is disregarded. Disregarded the precondition for the trial? The precondition is to have blood affected by the barrier. Blood affected by the barrier. In other words, to have mixed blood. If anyone else undertakes the trial, their flesh is... Wait, so Subaru has mixed blood now? Okay. So yeah, you don't need Echidna to give you the right to take the trial. It's just you need mixed blood, so Emilia would be able to take the trial. And apparently Subaru can take it now. I don't know if he's just actually has mixed blood now, or Echidna just bypassed that completely and just let him take the trial anyways. The precondition is to have mixed blood. If anyone else undertakes the trial, their flesh is replowed and shredded. Subaru and Emilia simultaneously gasped in surprise. Wow. I can't believe this bear just totally shredded Roswell. So that was the cause of Roswell's own body being damaged to such an extent. Okay, I'm glad we know that now. Were it not for the blood-stained bandages, Roswell's wounded body would be naked. Such was the cruel state he was in. Countless lacerations ran across his upper body, almost like a bomb had exploded inside him, with blood oozing out that very moment. Wow. I love how descriptive it is. You know, I can really imagine that, actually. It seemed like perhaps healing magic had little effect, or perhaps something was continuing to wound him afresh. So let me get straight to Echidna demands. Speaking those words, Garfield pointed straight towards the shocked Subaru. Oh, toward Emilia. Oh, he said demand Emilia take the trial to get them out of this mess. What a blackmailing piece of garbage, man. Freaking Garfield. They seemed to be saying that Emilia was needed to resolve the circumstances involving the sanctuary. I wonder what this trial consists of, though. Like, what do you need to do to pass the trial? Is it puzzles? Is it some sort of combat? Like, who knows, man? With Emilia's breath catching as she gazed at the finger, Garfield continued saying, "Lift the barrier around the sanctuary. To do that, take the trial. Until that's lifted, no one leaves. Not that you personally can leave anyway." Oh yeah, there's no way. They need to take this trial. Oh wow. So I wonder if Subaru's gonna let Emilia even take the trial. Because obviously, as we know, Subaru can take the trial because Echidna gave him that right. So, depending on how dangerous it is, if they even know how dangerous it is at all, I'm wondering if Subaru will try to step in and try to take the trial instead of Emilia. But I don't know if that would make sense because obviously Subaru's not mixed blood, so they probably would kind of gawk at that idea and say it's stupid, you know, you can't do that. And then Emilia would go, and maybe she would fail, and then Subaru would try. Or maybe Subaru can go in with her. Like maybe Emilia gets in trouble while she's taking the trial, and then Subaru feels like he's forced to try to get in the trial at least. I don't know, I'm just speculating different ideas here, but anyways, I'm definitely gonna end it there. So again, like the last video, it's not super long. It's not like an hour, so where is but yeah, we are getting into the meat of things. I'm sure in the next part we'll hopefully start taking the trial and see what that's about. And I guess now we figured out that Garfiel and them, I don't know if the others are involved, but at least Garfiel is forcing Subaru and Emilia into this situation where they have to take the trial. So, in order to leave. But then again, Emilia's mixed blood, she had to stay at the sanctuary anyway, so either way, they're screwed. They have to do this. So, we got a lot of good information. We finally met that pink-haired granny, the Loli Hag, as Subaru said. So that's cool. I'm interested to learn more about her backstory and why she's so old and young and lolly-like. But that is all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like, comment if you will. Make my day. But I'll catch you in the next one. Probably like 2 days till the next part comes out. But yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you and have a good day and night wherever you are. See ya.